Yo, what's up, everyone? Jersey Media, another episode. You guys already know Joe Fucarino. And then to my right, got a very, very special guest. You want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, sir. What's going on, everybody? My name is Javier. I'm the CEO of PPG Capital. I've been doing business for about 2.5 years, so I'm excited to get started.
Word, let's do it, bro.
Let's get it.
What's going on, man? You've been hitting. It's been gain season for you.
Yeah, bro. Ever since my birthday in September, I've been trying to just, eat a little bit more, put on a little bit more weight, more muscle, work out, more progressively during the weeks and stuff like that. So it's been a process, you know what I mean? Especially mentally, you know what I mean? You got to get used to it, you know what I mean? They eat a lot. So it's different.
You're naturally a big eater or no?
I'm not. So I'm a big junk eater. So like I used to eat a lot of junk food and stuff like that, but then like now I gotta do a lot of research into like how to clean bulk. You know what I mean? Let's just not eat anything, just eat certain things for nutrients and stuff like that.
Word. That reminds me, I gotta set you up with my best friend Anthony because he's on the same vibe right now.
Word.
Yeah, he's on the same vibe. He was through the bulk season a couple of years ago. He gained weight, but this guy was eating he was doing like messy, clean-ish.
Right.
Doing burgers and all this bunch of stuff. So now he's trying to do the same thing, trying to do the clean bulk.
Word. And another thing is I've never bulked before. So this is like my first bulking season actually. You know what I mean? I always when I first started working out, I kind of heard people saying that bulk cut season and never really understood it until I got into it. I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? This is how you do it. This is what you do, So
yo, man. I used to live with a bodybuilder. Right.
Really?
So anyone that's watching this, if you've been following me for a long time, you'll remember the pod episodes of Therapy Without a Degree, probably like around the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Around those episodes, I lived in Little Ferry, and I lived with a roommate named Brendan. We had Brendan on. Brendan would just yell out things from the kitchen. Brendan was a bodybuilder. He was the man. He ate very clean.
right.
Very, very clean. And he was, he was big. He was a big dude. But this dude was eating, bro. He was going through eggs. Going through them, bro.
That's what I'm doing now.
Going through them. He would go to Restaurant Depot.
Oh, yeah.
And, bro, he would get that big-ass box and he would go through them. Yeah, he had to shop at Restaurant Depot for the way he ate. And he cooked constantly. He was always cooking, always eating.
Yeah.
Very, very clean food. Crock pot with the chicken and everything. He would do his oatmeal every single day.
Every morning.
He would do it with peanut butter and a bunch of stuff.
Some honey.
Yeah, this dude was really eating. And then his one dessert that he liked for his cravings, and the only time that he would ever really slip up and do it not clean was a honey bun.
Right.
So he would do the honey bun, or then he would do every once in a while pizza.
Okay. I'm a cheesecake guy.
Cheesecake, that was your thing?
I'll spoil it with a cheesecake, yeah. Cheesecake,
Yeah.
and I like pizza. I still eat pizza, you know what I mean? Maybe once every 2 weeks, but I make it. So it's not like I order it or something like that. You know what I mean? I just make it. I put, some food pepperonis, some organic cheese, you know what I'm saying? Make the dough and boom.
Word, good shit. We gotta get you at the pizza making class in Napoli.
Oh, let's do it.
See, we gotta
I seen
get you there.
That was wavy.
Yeah. So now, for most of your foods, do you cook your own shit?
Yeah.
Do you like
so I go to the gym 6 days a week, and then Sundays are my rest day. And on that Sunday, for example, I'll do my chores and whatever I have to do, and then I'll cook meal prep for the whole week. You know what I'm saying? Usually until last me Thursday, Friday. You know what I mean? Rice, chicken meals. You know what I mean? Ground beef. A whole bunch of different things. Put broccoli in there, and I got those dollar store plastic containers, and I just slap 4 or 5 of them in there, and it's pretty good.
That's dope, man. I we were just talking off air. That's my struggle.
Yeah.
I'll do the grocery shopping, everything. I've even done the meal prep,
right?
And I just don't reheat it. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's just thing I gotta overcome, man.
I try to turn things into games. That's how things help me, because I love video games. So I think if I can turn everything into a game kind of thing, like a self-rewarding type of level thing, I think that really works.
So how would you say you would correlate that to food?
So for example, say you're hungry, and because you have to have something, you have to have a goal in mind. Because if you don't have a goal in mind, you're gonna forget what you're fighting for, kind of thing. So with me, it's I want to have a certain amount of body fat, compared to my muscle ratio. So it's I know that if I eat a cheesecake, you know what I'm saying, when I'm not supposed to, or I didn't eat clean, you know what I mean, throughout the week, it's how much am I gonna have to work out to fix that, to get that like 2 minutes it takes me to scarf it down? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you look at it like that. Yeah.
I look at it like that. So it's like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? I'll just try to turn it into a game. Like, I'm trying to think of an explanation. Like,
But that's a good point though. Like to say like, okay, this is 2,000 calories. How long is it going to take me to burn the 2,000? So if I eat this, I got to go do that. And you kind of like are paying attention in that way.
right. And I'm skinny as well. So it's like, I've realized, cause I was the type of guy, like I was never going to buy an Apple Watch. Like I'm that guy that I'm not doing it. I'm not even buying AirPods. You know, I'm not like that. But like I bought it for fitness literally, and I only wear it when I hit the gym and you know what I mean? I'm moving around. So it's like, I didn't realize that I actually burned less calories than I thought I did. Cause like, you know, those posts on Instagram, you see like the little mannequin doing jump rope and it's like, oh my God, you burn 1,000 calories. For everybody, that's not true.
Exactly.
You
It
know
all
what I
goes by
mean?
your heart rate too.
Yeah, you know, so I didn't understand any of that. So looking into it, I was like, holy shit, like I can go play basketball for 2.5 hours and only burn 400 calories. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I expected to burn 1,000, 1,200. So I was like, wow. So that gave me a little bit boost of confidence. Like, okay, well, you know what I mean? Now I can play around with my nutrition and what can I eat and what can I not eat? And, you know, how can I move around that?
Because you're not burning as much as you thought doing that. So you got to.
Precisely.
Yeah, I don't have my watch on me now, but I do the same thing, and I bought it for that reason, to track things. And I thought the same thing, man. I found out the same thing because, like, you know, I did think I've kind of been watched a lot of videos, and I've learned to like not focus too much on the calorie part to it. But obviously, we all know it does help. But same thing, I thought like doing the cardio and doing just even weight training and doing all that was burning more, and it wasn't really a lot. So then I started swimming,
Right.
And then that's why I started going crazy with the swimming, because I love to swim. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. And then it was a bonus because it was the number one thing that I was doing that was burning the most calories.
Right.
Like, bro, I can go in that gym and I could do like a good 45-minute swim and I burn 1,000 calories.
Wow.
That's how much, like 1,000. Like, it's fucking
clear
nuts.
your mind in that water too. You know what I mean? Just
that's when I have like
out.
my me time, like
Right.
no phone calls, nothing.
Airplane mode and it's
Word.
over. You know what I mean?
So you've been in the gym now for a minute, man. That's actually where I met you. So a little backstory. I was in there. This guy was working hard, right? Working hard. I don't know if you want to say the actual business or what you were doing, but you were grinding, man.
Yeah. So at the time, I was doing Herbalife, which is like a nutrition and supplement company. And the local gym where we live allows us to, you know, have business appreciation days. So basically, I'll set up a table. I'll bring some of the products that I have, and people can buy them. And you know, I'll give them some nutrition tips and stuff like that. I had a little scale for body mass index and stuff. So that's how I got started. You know, That's what another thing too, where it's like the negativity that's around that type of company is kind of misplaced, because for me, I got a lot of experience about sales and how people really are and agendas and stuff like that. So, but that understanding those products made me understand how better products there are out there and really get like the nutrition part of it, like actual like proteins and like BCAAs and like a whole bunch of different stuff that I never understood. So, but if it wasn't for that company going into that and like into that industry, I wouldn't have cared, or like I wouldn't have like known the difference between this product and that product and what they do differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
actually educated yourself a lot on that.
Absolutely. Even if, you know what I mean, for example, if I didn't continue with the company, that knowledge will always stay with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
So,
knowledge is power, man.
exactly. 110%, man.
Knowledge
It's
is power.
crazy.
And then the networking was great too. The fact that we met, I'm so glad, you know what I'm saying, that you were there that day, because shit, I don't know if we would have met.
Right.
You know what I mean? If
You know what
not,
I mean?
so all things happen for a reason, you know what I mean?
100%.
I'm a firm believer in that. So that's super, super dope, man. And, you know, for you too, like, you know, you're a young dude. So for like that alone, like what motivated you to get into that? Because you said, you know, off mic and things we've talked about personally, that was a pretty big change for you.
Yeah.
You know, you said that wouldn't be something that you would, if someone knew you 5 years ago or 7 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever, maybe would see you doing. Right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
no, absolutely.
And if so, like, why do you think is that? Like, what caused that shift in that mindset to say, yo, I'm gonna try this? Was it like the financial opportunity? Was it just to do something different? What do you think it was?
For me personally, it wasn't so much about the financial opportunity, because it was more of like, if I don't change. So I'm the type of person that the only reason why I want money is to change my mom's life. So like, it I'll do whatever I need to do, legally, that I can hustle and get money and build a business and learn to be able to get us out of situations that we're in. We have been, you know what I mean, and put her in a place where she can relax. Because my mother specifically was the type of mom, and is the type of mom, that she left her life to raise me, literally. You know what I mean? So it's like, she gave up everything. She gave up even relationships to be able to make sure that I had a loving environment. So I will never forget that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm the type of person that it's like, I want to make sure that the time she has left is left in complete security and safety. Me, I'm 23 years old. You know what I mean? I have my whole life ahead of me. You know what I mean? Hopefully. So it's like, I have to get my priorities straight. And I just came to the realization that, when are you going to do it? You're 22. And I was like 21, 20, something like that after high school. And I was like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You didn't play any sports. You didn't, get any great awards or anything like that. All you got is this diploma, and you don't want to get into college debt. You got to go do something. Yeah. So I was just like, I got to take that step, whatever it is, and I was like, oh, and then the pandemic happened, and I was like, holy shit, like the whole world shut down. Like I thought it was the end of the world. Like I was like, dude, this is it. Like, it was crazy. But I was just like, what are in the lockdowns, I'm like, what are two things that when we're in the shit, literally, like what's still open? What can we still do? And I realized that it's finance and health. Those are the two things that no matter how they change, they're always going to be there, because we are humans. You know what I mean? So you're always going to be healthy. We always need to exchange something. Of course. So I just thought that those were the two best industries to get into. And, here I am.
Hey, let's go, man. And too, they kind of, it's crazy because that when you started with Herbalife, it kind of got you into both at the same time. Like it kind of knew that you were destined for that, right, without you even realizing it. You know what I'm saying? Because even though you wouldn't think of Herbalife on like the financial side, it is, because it's a very different type of financial company and stuff. Right. And I am a firm believer that they all do work. Those type of businesses, network marketing, like we were saying, I think before we started recording, that, if you badmouth the network marketing, that's just probably because you failed at it.
Right.
So, for you to be able to see that, and for you to be able to understand that, and to see that business side, too, just shows that you're made for stuff that has to do with money. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like in that world of that, just that alone. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't have understood it. I don't think. If you didn't understand it,
if I didn't get into it, if I didn't have those conversations, and you know what I mean,
or to see that it, like to know the potential of it, right, or just to kind of get it, to really, really get it, because you knew like, I gotta hustle with this thing, whatever it is. Yeah. Like not many people get it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that really shows you sometimes of someone's true knowledge about just like things in general. I want to say exactly finances, things in general, man. Because like that even brings me back to a lot of the people that I know that have done network marketing, even if they did it for a little bit, but the ones that did it and understood it, very, very impactful people, very knowledgeable people, very smart people. You know what I'm saying? Like if people did it for a little bit and then stopped doing it or whatever, that's a different story for other times, right, because it is a full-time job and there's so many other lanes to that.
That and some more.
But the fact of just that, like, you understood it shows a lot. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
like
that.
Probably more than what you know. And I think you'll get it more as you get older. Mm-hmm. You'll see it more. Right. Especially because you're in it. When you're in sometimes some things you don't really acknowledge it too much, but when you step outside the box and you start being around more people in the world and things, and you're gonna start to see other people that get it as well, you're gonna just know. You're just gonna start seeing that they're just different. Right. And it also, like, as you start going through life, like even me, like I was approached and with network marketing when I was 19, so I was 19 years old. And it has been still in and out of my life up until now, until I'm 31. Right. You know what I'm saying? And every single person that has got it to this day I could say was very knowledgeable in business in general. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Absolutely. You learn a lot. And most importantly, you learn a lot about people, about the things that they can do, what they're capable of. You know what I mean? So it's and you kind of learn how to analyze people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can read people's body language more. It's great. I don't regret anything. I would never go back. I appreciate, like you said, everything happens for a reason. I'm also a firm believer of that. So, and you really see, like, when you try to do something, it sounds so cliche, but when you try to do something outside of the box, how people really will pray on your downfall. Like, they will really take the time out of their day, the extra step, just to, throw negativity on that. And for me, a person who I have always been raised to be positive, like, and my mom's the same way. So, like, being experienced, or like being introduced to that experience was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, and you lose a lot of friends. Like, I lost a lot of friends because I realized, like, when you get serious about something that you want for the betterment of you and your family, like, there are not a lot of people who want to do the same or have the same thing. They're like, yo, bro, you're 20, like, chill. You know what I mean? No, you know what I mean? It's like Alexander, literally almost conquered the world by 30 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn,
talk your shit. Nah,
you
for
feel me?
real.
Like, I'm not trying to just smoke and drink all weekend and, talk shit. Because I'm the type of person that it's like, my friends, like the people who I call friends, I've grown up with. I'm not the type of dude that calls everybody my friend. So it's like those type of people who you grow up with the years and years and years and go through so many different experiences with. When you have that moment where it's like, because I firmly believe everyone in life has a moment. And you can either take that moment or not. But if you don't, it's going to get, like, the moment is going to turn more negative as it goes on until it blows up in your face and you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? But by then it's too late. You got to pick up the pieces. So, like, I believe that I caught it early, you know what I mean, to make that change. But, a lot of people don't have the same way, and, mindset, and it hurts because it's like, damn, you guys are supposed to be my friends, you know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to do all these stuff together, and I realized, like, you don't even care about anything I'm telling you, and to the contrary, you actually say, oh, don't even do that, waste your time. So it's like, there's a lot of separation there, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's
tough.
It's tough.
It's tough, man, because especially when I've kind of grown up the same. I think it's a thing in this area. But bro, same thing, man. Like, I've had friends since we were like fucking 8 years old. And a lot of us, like I said, I think it's a thing in this area. Sometimes you'll have friends when you're 8 years old and people that you consider family. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially seriously. I think the way a lot of us were raised around here, some people, when it's like that, when you have that much time invested sometimes, that you like family. And it hurts sometimes when you see things on a certain way and you really have knowledge in it. You've educated yourself in it and you've seen this way to change your life and to change multiple people's lives. And it's like, people just not interested, or like you said, people just either hate on it or just don't see the value in it or any of those things. It hurts because of how much you love them. You know what I mean? It hurts, especially if you have a good heart. But what I've learned though is, man, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's in a different lane. And I said that before on my other podcast, Therapy Without a Degree, not to be disrespectful to people. Right. But because I don't want you to think of it as a fast lane. I don't want you to think of it as a middle lane, a slow lane. But people just are in different lanes. Right. You may be in lane A, another person will be in lane B, lane C. Just people are in different lanes and everyone has different exits. And sometimes, many different destinations. You guys might even meet. You might be at the stop. Yeah. You might make a rest stop, and then guess what? Eventually they're gonna come to you. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know. Like, I've had, one of my best friends, like, for the first couple of years that I was getting into my thing, we just didn't see eye to eye. Right. Like, we both knew our goal was pretty much the same, but it was very different. It was very, like, I was like chasing freedom, and they were chasing, I think, security.
There's a stark difference in that.
There is a huge difference in that. And, we both, though, still wanted the same thing at the end of the day. Right. But those paths, when you're going for freedom and you're going for security, are just different. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I would get hurt because I'm like, yo, this is my best friend, someone I love. Like I love his family. I love all that shit. So I'm like, yo, when you see this, it's this way. You know you get upset because you're like, fam.
Right.
You know, where sometimes you see other things in people. You know, like
they don't see themselves.
They don't see it themselves, and it hurts.
Right.
It hurts, but at the end of the day, you know, they have to trust the process. You know, and you got to be the example. You know, that's what I've learned. So just continue being you.
Right. You have to have vision. You know what I mean? A lot of people, like, for example, you, in order to take that jump to do what you're doing, you know what I mean? He might not necessarily have the same vision as you. Even though you guys have the same ideas, it's just, it won't click if you don't have that vision. Like, it can happen. You know what I mean? And this, you know, that'll shut you down right there from the start.
If you don't have the vision. And like I said, it's all a journey, man, because eventually he did.
Right.
You know, eventually he did, you know, and it's really crazy. And then now it's like, all right, now we on the same time, still even do things differently. You know, the way I go about things are a little different than he goes about things, but it's like, all right, you see the difference now between security and freedom.
Right.
Or you see that security a lot of time ain't security.
It's not.
You know,
it's just a, you know, quotation security.
Yeah, you could have the best 9 to 5 in the world, but that shit can go tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pandemic showed a lot of people that.
Yeah.
I knew that before it.
Right.
I just saw it. But people don't.
It was a huge wake up call for a lot of people. And even then, a lot of people still didn't get it and don't get it. So, you know, at that point, you know what I mean? You can, you know, kind of do what you can do at that point. You know, it's not.
They don't realize Walmart can close down tomorrow.
Right.
Any business can shut down.
Look at all the rules they put on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was crazy. I remember when I went over there, like a couple of days after they started the lockdown. I mean, they had gates, armed, secure. Like, it was crazy. I was like, whoa, like, this is like something out of like a movie. You know what I mean? It was crazy. I went in there. There's nothing on the shelves. Nothing.
Yeah.
No what? Like, it was nuts.
Nothing.
It was nuts.
And you know your background too, and also like you should tell the story a little bit about with ShopRite. You know, like that transition, because now also, you know, obviously you have the health and the fitness side of this, and like I said, that introduced you to the finance world. But like, you know, I want you to tell that story too, because it really, really shows, you know, that growth of that whole process as well.
Right. And I'll tell you a story, because I just really want to break this point across of how scummy some businesses can be, some corporations can be, because I don't really know if ShopRite is a corporation, but it is family owned. And that, you know, so what they would, so when I started working there, I was a cashier, and I loved my, not love, that's a strong word, but it's, you know, I extremely liked and I got along with this lady named I think Kate, something like that. She was like the front end manager, and you know, she just made my life easy working there. She showed me things the right way and all that stuff. So like, but after a while, I kind of understood that it was getting repetitive, and I'm the kind of person that I need to grow. I need to do multiple things, and I need to have a hands-on experience. Sitting at a cashier, not even sitting because they don't let you sit. I was standing at a cashier's booth for hours every single day. You know what I mean? It was just like, this is not what I want to do. So I started to just like, that's how I am. I'm very dismissive with things. So I just stopped showing up sometimes. Like, I'd call out and I'd go do other stuff. And I got in trouble eventually, and I was gonna get fired. But what they did was they started a new online program at ShopRite, where they were taking online orders to the online room, and they were working with this third-party company that was delivering it. So a new position came open. Mind you, the position is like a new position. It's not like something that's like documented in the company. It's just some shit that the manager made up, like, this is the name of your new position, go do it. You know what I mean? So that was a consolidator. So he walked up to me, and you know, you could look at it two ways, like, oh, maybe he thought that I was the guy for the job, or like, this is your last stop before you're out of here. You know what I mean? So either way you want to take it, I took the job. Because I was like, I mean, it's something else. You know what I mean? Whatever, I need a job, something else. So I started doing it, and then the lady that I was working with, her name is Lily. I won't forget her. And she was just, I mean, she was a real piece of work. I mean, she was the type of person who she would wear these long sleeve fleece long sleeves. and like it would be like extra large, and she'd have like a bottle of Fireball because there was a camera in the online room. So she'd have her cup next to the computer, and because she works there for like 30 years, so she already knows the drill. So she would switch it to her left hand, pour it in the cup, and then pour some coffee in there, and she'd be like drinking on the job.
Yeah.
And this would be the lady who's yelling at me to go faster or whatever it was every day, and she was just extremely disrespectful. And then like I'm just seeing that, and like I am big into culture, so I'm like, somebody has to know about this, because if she's this comfortable doing it, she's been doing it for years, and they're just keeping her because they're keeping her. So like, and there was this guy in the online room in the when I was doing consolidation in the back. His name was Ed. I mean, this guy, I remember in October, Halloween, he was just like, we got these huge shipments to start preparing for like the candy and stuff like that. And like, he would curse and yell, fuck this, just completely crazy. And I realized like, okay,
like you said, a toxic work environment.
So toxic, it's nuts. And there was like mice running around. It was nuts. So I'm like, I still have the video to this day of that, because this is another thing. There was a guy that was the manager named Tong, and he was actually removed from that ShopRite because there was, I don't know too much, but it was something involving some sexual harassment thing with like a younger woman, a girl. And I was like, what the hell? And they let him go. They had to transfer him. Then we got the shipments and stuff, and when Ed was screaming and all that stuff, I mean, there was pallets stacked, probably 12 feet high, of just merchandise. You couldn't move through the back room. And I was like, it was so toxic. And so with the consolidator position, it was just constant disrespect every day. And I I got to the point where I was like, I quit. You know what I mean? I'm not nobody's punching bag. You know what I mean? Because people who work somewhere a long time, they do have seniority, but that doesn't mean that you can use that to disrespect somebody else. Of course, you know what I mean? So it's like I believe that anybody who has power is going to use that over you. Like, it's like waiting in line at the DMV. You know what I mean? They don't care about you, because what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So it's like they use that, and they know that you need it. You know what I mean? So it gives them more of a like, hold on, sir, stuff like that, where they could just, little jabs.
Yeah. I hate that disrespect shit.
Hate it, bro.
That's not an environment that you want to be around. Now, do you think that like kind of pushed? Were you doing Herbalife at that time too, or no?
No. So so his name is Edwin. I actually met him on my way out of ShopRite. Like maybe like the last 2 months there, I met him, and he was the frozen manager at ShopRite. He still is, actually. And I met him, and then he told me about the opportunity. He was like, hey, listen, I do this on the side. I'm thinking about opening up a shop. Are you interested? And I said, listen, I'll try almost anything once. You know what I mean? I'll come check it out, and I'll see what it is. And it was, health related, and I wasn't in the best shape. I wasn't hitting the gym or nothing like that. I was eating, shit every day. So I was like, sure, like, I'll try it. And I mean, that point, I was like, okay, now I'm really quitting. Like now,
now because I got this going.
Yeah,
I got that. So where within all that too, man, where did you like educate yourself on like finance and stuff, man? Because like you're super knowledgeable as far as like with credit and finances and you're a young dude too. So like when did you like study all that?
Right. So after I quit ShopRite, which was like extremely late 2019, was kind of around like I'm a history buff. Like I love history and stuff like that. I love like World War II specifically is like my that is bad context, but it's like most interesting because like I love my country. So it's like that war led to America being one of the the strongest nation in the world, the most influence. So that kind of always intrigued me. So I was just doing, reading articles and stuff like that, and I heard about like the whole China thing, like what was going on in China, and all that whole health situation, and I was just like, okay, well this is interesting, and mind you, I was doing Herbalife, so it's like it's a very touchy-feely company. You know what I mean? You go to a lot of seminars, you talk to a lot of people, you're in a lot of gyms and stuff like that, so it's very feely. So reading that, I was like, you know what I mean? This is, something. So I got a 1099 job at this funding company. So it's like they do business loans. They do business loans, they do personal loans, they even do mortgages. So I got into that, and like that, because I already had like the kind of thing, like when you go to the Herbalife seminars, you kind of dress up. So I started to like that. Like I was like, ooh, like this feels nice. I literally, when I started doing Herbalife was when I bought my first suit. Literally. So I'm like, oh, okay. You know, it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, something different.
Yeah, it's something different. I took a picture, you know what I mean? I literally posted it. It's on my Instagram. If you guys want to check it out. PPG Javi. That day I took a picture, and I was probably like at one of my lowest points because I had just quit a job. I had zero income. I was like, Mom, what am I going to do? Like, this is bad. You know what I mean? But I literally, I had a car at that point. I did. But it wasn't even registered. It was a mess. I was a mess. But I started doing that, and there was a lady there named Christina, and she was really teaching me the ropes. And you know, once I saw that the money that you could make, so we were getting 10% deals. So, but they weren't really doing any loans or any business for anything under $200,000.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, 10% of $300,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You know what I mean? So it's like, once I realized that, and then like the CEO of the company, I mean, this dude's a millionaire, you know what I mean? Multi-millionaire, driving a Maserati, you know, it's nuts. So that was like a huge culture shock for me, because I'm like, whoa, like opportunity is here, you know what I mean? But then, you know, COVID happened, and they shut down the office, and we all went virtual. And then like he decided to stop operations in North Jersey, and he moved back to Florida. So now I'm thinking like Herbalife is out the window, because there's talking about locking down for 3 months. You're not going anywhere. No one's going. All the gyms were closing down. You couldn't go. You know, people were acting like it was the plague. You know what I mean? Don't go and come near me. I don't know you. So that health company was not something that I could continue with at the time, because I'm like, it's just not possible. So Christina started a credit repair company. And she was like, listen, you were one of my best closers here, because she was a sales manager, and she was the one who hired me off of Indeed. So, you know, she was like, listen, you're one of my best closers. I'm going to start my own thing. Do you want to be my number two? And I said, absolutely. Like, she taught me everything. You know what I mean? She taught me a whole bunch of, you know, different tips and how to, you know what I mean, loans, everything about credit. And I'm thankful for her, because I was able to, and I pick up things quickly. So like, you know, when I'm talking to her, I make notes, and you know, I ask questions. And you know, after that, she kind of gave me like a baseboard of how things work, and from there I just did my own research, looked up YouTube videos, spent weeks, months, because throughout the rest of 2020 was when I really got into it. I got into stocks, I got into real estate. I have my real estate license. Like, I just realized like this is the way to go. Like nothing else, other than if you're in the healthcare field, which is something, like I said, it's always going to be there, or government jobs. Finance is something that nothing else matters, because you need that first. If you don't have your finances in order, you can't drive a car, you can't buy a house, you can't go to an apartment, you can't, nothing. You know what I mean? So like nothing, no other profession I feel is more important besides health than finance, because it's like, you know, once you have your health right, you need money. Yeah. And you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, it means nothing.
That's one thing I've been saying a lot, because, you know, there's always that conversation of money can't buy happiness.
Right.
But
that's arguable.
Money can fix a lot of things.
Yeah.
Everything that because trust me, I was definitely that guy for a while, until I started realizing it. And I'm like, what are the things that make me unhappy? Right. I'm unhappy when I can't pay rent. Money can fix that. Right. I'm unhappy when my car breaks down. Money can fix that. Right. I'm unhappy when I can't go travel to see Jaylene. Usually it's because of finances. Right. Money can fix that. You know, there's so many different things that money can fix that honestly, like, there's not many things that I'd be upset about in life, honestly, that money can't fix.
Right. And
maybe it's just me, but
no,
I don't know.
You're definitely right. And I look at it this way as well. That's right up to a certain point. And I'm gonna tell you why. When you make a certain amount of money, let's say right now you're at $60,000 a year, and you know we have those problems. When you're at $450,000 a year, those problems melt away like that. Yeah. So it's like you when the more money that you make, your problems change. And then you get to the point. That's why they say what dead men have and rich require. It's like dead men have all the time in the world. Rich men require time, but you can never buy time because it's, you can't. So it's like once you get to a certain point, you get to where it's like money is just a tool to do what you want. You know what I mean? Happiness needs to be found in something else. You know what I mean? Because at some point, money is not going to be able to, change any problems because you can just pay for everything. You know what I mean? Your things shift to things that money can't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And of course, if you have health, you can pay for the best doctors and the best medication and therapy and whatever. But, sometimes a lot of rich people have a lot of like emotional problems, mind things that, you know what I mean? Therapy sometimes can't help. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's tough. It's very picky.
Yeah, it all depends on what. Like I think individually, what the people get upset about.
Definitely.
Like me, I'd be thinking, I'm like, yo, money would fix about 95%. A good 95.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Like what? So since you've been educating yourself on it, man, like what are some tips that you would really give people, man, as far as like trying to build their credit? Like if someone right now is struggling and they're trying to build up their credit and they're trying to fix their credit, like what would you recommend? What are some like little small key things?
If you're just starting out, I'd say get secured credit cards. I mean, that's literally the basis of how I started. I got like $600. I put $200 on each credit line, and I got myself 3 cards. And as soon as you get your credit card, you switch all cash and debit spending to your credit card. Literally everything you spend $1 on, you put it on your card first, and you keep that cash. Because that I started to do because you can start leveraging your credit. You know what I mean? Because you have 30 days to pay for it, or God forbid somebody, steals your wallet or something like that, uses your debit card. That's your money, but the credit card is the bank's money. You know what I mean? So it's different. But
now also when doing that too, like any particular type of secured cards, or should people just get any of them? Like what's up with that?
Well, you'd always have to read a lot of some cards. So secured cards are a little bit more restricted because they won't give you like 0% APR and stuff like that. But like, I mean, Capital One's a great bank. Discover It, like one of my first cards was Discover It secured card. That was an amazing card. They even give you cash back. So I was getting cash back on gas, stuff like that. You just really got to read the notes. I know it's like nobody reads them, but it's like read them.
So what's a good interest rate? Like what's a high interest rate for people that don't know?
Well, most credit cards are going to be between 18 and 25%. So it's like, think of it of like 25% of every dollar you spend. You know what I mean? And also, this is the biggest thing. Never carry a balance. The better credit cards that you get, you're going to eventually get something that's called a charge card. And the charge cards are like American Express cards, where it's like, there is no minimum payment. You know what I mean? There is just like, you spend $3,000, you have to pay $3,000 or it looks bad. You know what I mean? Like they don't have most cards. And then there's revolving cards, or revolving lines of credit, where it's like, you can spend $150 and say, have a $2,000 credit line. If you want to use that amount of credit again, you can pay it right there and then. Like as soon as you swipe it, you can pay it the next day, and then like you'll have that amount available to you again, instead of having to wait at the end of the cycle, pay your balance, and then wait for them to reset your credit limit. You know what I mean? So those two things are definitely...
What are they called?
They're called charge cards and revolving lines of credit. So those are the two things you definitely want to look at.
Now, what's like a high interest rate? Like what's an interest rate that if like they shouldn't even do it?
20. I mean, they're usually capped at like 28%. But I mean, if you see anything over 25, you know what I mean? But most cards are like that because they want to really, really incentivize you to not carry a balance. You know what I mean? They kind of do that as like a penalization system. But I really want to stress the point though that you should, to me, interest rates are oblivious, because I pay my cards off in full every month anyways. You know what I mean? Unless it's something that I'm doing some kind of business that it's okay to carry a balance. But usually, like when you sign up for new credit cards, they'll give you like a 0% APR for your first year. And that's when you can really milk it. Like that's when it's acceptable to carry a balance, because you are not paying any interest.
Okay. What were you gonna say?
Right. It's just only do that strategically though. Like it's not just like let me go buy this flat screen TV and make the payments on it. You know what I mean? It's like if you are a business owner or you're an entrepreneur and you want to leverage your credit in order to get something that you know that you can't afford, but you know you can make money off of it, then you buy it with your credit card. You know what I'm saying? You do your business and then you pay back what you owed and then you have your profit. You know what I mean? Separately. You know, use it strategically. A lot of people are like, especially when I got into credit repair, people are like, if they treat it like the plague. They're like, oh my God, I don't want a credit card. I don't know how to work that. I don't even want to get into it. And it's like, you're losing so much opportunity. And one day down the road, you're going to need it. You're going to need to understand it. And this conversation that we're having right now, it's going to be like, damn, I should have taken that opportunity. But I waited 5-6 years until like, you know, now it's like, because it takes time to build credit. You know, it wasn't, 3 months, 6 months. It took me, literally since I quit ShopRite up until about this, beginning of this year to have perfect credit. You know what I mean? So it was.
Now, what about utilization? Like, so if you say, someone puts maybe, let's say $200 on a secured card, like what should their utilization be?
It should be 30%. 30 to 40%. You should not be the type of person that maxes out your cards. Even like I said, unless it's revolving credit where you can max out your card for, like I said, one of those type of business situations and you're going to make that money back before it's due, that's okay. But 30% is usually the sweet spot. Especially as you start, and it may seem low now, but like you have to understand that it's the secured cards are not to buy things. They're just the foundation. So you're gonna always have 3 to 4 foundational cards that you never close because that's going to affect your account, like your time of account open. So like, for example, the amount of accounts you have and how long you've had them matters in your credit score. So like if you have a credit card that for example, you have a secured card that you open and you kept it for 8 years. And then on your 9th year, you say, you know what, I'm going to close that card. I don't use it too much. That's going to drop your score. Because you've had it so long, and if you had a good payment history, you've had such a good payment history for so long, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna up your credit line, give you your security deposit back, all that stuff. That's gonna matter because it's like, okay, well, why'd you do that? You know what I mean?
So is it better not to use it at all?
What, use your credit card?
Yeah, like I just say, you don't want to use that secured card.
Well, you just got to fit it into the rotation. What you can do is you can have, if you're a big spender and you have 6 cards, you spread your cards out. You put them on auto pay because that's what I do because I'm going to forget. You put them on auto pay to your bank account and then you just, Monday's my Capital One. Tuesdays my Discover It, Wednesdays my Apple Card, Thursdays my Amex. You know what I mean? And you just do that, or put a little post-it note reminder on your phone, Apple Watch, whatever it is. We live in those, technology, so you can set a reminder for anything, anytime. So it's like I tell people to do that, and then you don't even have to worry about the payments because it's on auto pay. So you just do what you're doing and go about business normally.
Do you know if you could set them at a 30% cap?
Like to use?
Yeah. Do you know if there's that?
No, you kind of just have to like, okay, my credit line's 300, 30% is 900.
You got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to it. Definitely.
Because I was just thinking about this as we were speaking. I didn't think I ever saw anything like that. But
no. Because they don't want to. They don't want you. They don't even want you to know what I'm telling you guys.
Of course,
you know
what
I mean. They don't want you to know that because they want you to
30%.
like spend it. You know what I mean? Like we want you. So, but those are just things that you pick up in the industry. You know what I mean? Like and another real driver is I realized that finance is really dirty. It's very, very dirty. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of scammers on it. There's a lot of people who are doing special interest stuff like that. And I kind of want to bring what did I say? Like, how can I say it? I want to bring not the equalizer, but it's like I want to bring, transparency to the clients that I work with. You know what I mean? I want to explain to them what they're doing, what they're getting themselves into, how this is going to affect them, you know what I mean, in the future. And because nobody did that for me. You know what I mean? Nobody took the time. Well, one person did, you know what I mean, who taught me everything. But like other than that, how many years was I going to go before anybody had a conversation like that with me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't care. They're just, you're just another salesperson. You know what I mean? Go whatever. They don't, you know what I mean? But she took the time and she was like, listen, this is how it is. This is why it is, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh shit, like, this is amazing.
You have to actually teach you these things.
110%.
Now, what's your thoughts on like business credit? Because a lot of times people have businesses out there. So, what's your thoughts on that? Like, if you have bad personal credit, could you still open a business with business credit? What about that?
Well, they're always gonna. So when you start a business, they're always gonna piggyback off of you. So like if you have, like for example, when I started my business, my personal credit was immaculate. So they offered me a business line of credit immediately. So, but for some people who don't have good credit and want to have a business line of credit, I would say before you even think about that, before you even try to start a new venture, old habits die hard. So if you have bad credit, that's because you've made bad decisions, or maybe you didn't know about certain situations or whatever it is, or shit happens. You know what I mean? Those three are the main, causes of why people have bad credit. But if you just say, if you don't fix the problem at its root and say, okay, my personal credit is bad, but I want to start a business and I don't really know about business credit, those problems, those behaviors that you had with the personal credit are going to follow you into your business and destroy it from the roots. Because when you start a business, you're fresh, you're a blank check. You know what I mean? So you don't want to go into that with the same problems that you had. Because I like to think of it like a Batman kind of thing, where it's like I am, Bruce Wayne, and my business is Batman. So they're two separate entities, and that's how you're viewed in the eyes of the government too. You're two separate entities. So like I almost have this kind of like switch where it's like when I'm in business, this is what I'm doing and this is how I act. And when I'm me, it's, you know what I mean? I'm chill. I can do whatever, you know what I mean? But it's like, you really have to make that separation and come to that conclusion where it's like business credit, you need that. You know what I mean? Like that's as much as you need real credit for you, you need business credit. Like that's going to help you leverage, especially if you're a product based business, which a lot of people are, where it's like, think about that. A lot of people don't have $3,000 in their checking account. You know what I mean? But a business line of credit for $3,000 will let you buy $1,500 worth of product, $500 worth of marketing budget, and you got yourself, you know what I mean, a small little business for $2,000, and you have $1,000 to play with. You know what I mean? You can leverage that and sell all those products and make $3,000, pay it back, and look at all the profit you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then use a dime of your own money.
Do you feel like business loans and business credit is easier to get than personal credit once you get it?
Arguably, because it depends on what niche you're in. Like for example, so like with credit repair companies, it's very hard to get merchant accounts. It's very hard to get business bank accounts and business lines of credit because they're viewed as a risk. So like banks always like have a risk reward thing. So that's how much money they lend you, if they even do, stuff like that. But like yeah, it's really.
That's interesting. Yeah. I was just curious because, sometimes people don't even know that they can get the business credit and then they just think that they could do the personal credit.
No, right.
And then it's just always a question of, will the business give you more or will the personal give you more?
Definitely. So if you have your personal credit in a good spot and you're making some sort of income and you start a business like an LLC or whatever, usually they'll give you more money with a business line of credit, most definitely, because they understand that it's like if they're gonna do it, $1,000 is not gonna cut it. You know what I mean? That's not much wiggle room. You know what I mean? And like the more money that you spend, you can always ask for upgrades. So if you're the type of like you have a fast cash burn rate, I mean it's like, you know what I mean? They give you $3,000 and you're spending $2,500 and you're paying it off real quick. They're gonna up that to 15.
Are you talking a line of credit card? Or
yeah, a line of credit,
or credit card.
Credit card. Yeah, it's a line of credit. Because you can remove the cash too. You know what I mean?
If you're doing that, isn't that then defeating the purpose of the utilization, or no? What do you mean? Like, how does that work?
Well,
how do you balance that? So then, if you're trying to, like you said, what's the term? If you're doing the fast transactions, if you have
a fast cash burn rate.
Yeah, cash.
Right. So it's like because you're paying them off in full. So utilization, business credit is different than personal credit.
Okay.
So like you can use 30%, like you can have that utilization for your business, but it's not viewed the same as if you're doing it. Like, because generally speaking, people who use credit cards personally are consumers. So like they use it to consume products and services and stuff like that. But like a business, banks understand that it's like you're a business now. You know what I mean? They don't even see you as Joe. You know what I mean? It's now your Jersey Media. That's the company that's spending this money. So it's like they understand that you're not spending this money, or generally speaking, just to consume stuff. You know what I mean? To just buy consumer stuff.
Yeah, they figure it's
You're
not a
growing the
product.
business. You know what I mean? That's the impression that you're growing the business. You're using this to be able to do it. Plus, you're paying it off. You know what I mean? So it's like given that you're actually doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like. It's just different because they report to Duns and Bradstreet, other than you know what I mean.
That's good to know. Then, and so the business credit, you're not really focused on a 30%. You're just focusing on more.
Right. It's good to keep it down if you know that it's like iffy on how much money that I can, because it's all return on investment. You know what I mean? You have to use your credit card, especially a business credit card, as like, what can my return on investment be? If I, buy $500 of product, can I make $1,000 off of that? And if not, then, you know what I mean? If I have to go over my 30% to do that, is it profitable to me? You know what I mean?
It better be, right?
It better be, because you're making that.
Pay it soon.
Exactly, because you're making that risk. And that's why revolving lines of credit are beautiful, the best ones, because it's like, you can literally do all of that as a business owner in the course of a few days, or maybe even a week. You know what I mean? Like, you could buy $1,000 worth of product on Monday, put the ads out on Tuesday, sell them on Wednesday, and pay the card that you bought it off with on Thursday. You know what I mean? And you have that same amount of money that you started with fresh for the next week. Whereas if you just have a regular line of credit, you're going to have to wait for the whole month until you can get that buying power back.
Exactly.
Even if you have the money to pay it off. If you've made your profit already, they don't. You know what I mean? That's just not the type of card it is.
So what type of card is that exactly?
That's a revolving line of credit.
And that only is for what, business?
No, it's for personal too.
So
like,
personal?
for example, the Apple Card. That's a revolving line of credit. So everybody out there, if you have generally over 620. If you have an over 620 credit score and you want to get into credit and get a line of credit, like I said, get the Apple Card. That's the best starter for anyone.
Okay, good. That's good to know. And with that one, like you said, it's revolving. So if they buy something today and then tomorrow they pay it off, it looks good.
It comes back. So like, say you have $5,000 line of credit, you spend $1,000, and you in product or whatever, and you pay it back. That next day, you'll have $5,000 again. Like, you can.
And that looks good on the credit.
Yeah, because you took the money, you spent it on whatever, you paid it back. And you can just keep doing that.
Word.
They send you and you get cash back on it too. You know what I mean? 0% APR too, so you can really leverage. Credit's amazing, but it's just the fear of. That's why when you said knowledge is power, man. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It's just, if you don't understand something, you're apprehensive about it. You don't even want to. You know what I mean? And anybody with a suit who comes talk to you, I don't want to be sold. Don't talk to me. You know what I mean?
Of course.
They close themselves off from that opportunity, and in finance, I've realized that a lot of people do that. It's scary. Like, wow.
People box themselves out, man. They don't want to learn.
And they don't understand. You know what I mean? I mean, I've had a lot of clients like that. I have a lot of clients that don't understand. And another thing in credit repair as well, it's like, everybody who has messed up their credit expects that their credit is fixed like that.
Yeah, it don't work like
It
that.
don't work like that. They take
You can fuck it up in a day, but
yep.
It takes a long time to fix it back up.
That's a fact.
Yo, man, I think we got to get Javi on here like monthly.
I'm with it. Let's do it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I think we got to get him on monthly to drop some gems for y'all. Because I'd get into more, but I don't want to confuse y'all. Like, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff, man.
I've got so much, bro. So much content.
Yeah, but that's dope, man. So as far as the credit, what do we get into, just in case people want to make notes? So revolving line of credit.
We got into revolving lines of credit.
Cash. You said what was that? The other
So
one?
like, when you're a business, your cash burn rate. How much
Cash
you're
burn
using,
rate.
how much you're using it. We got
secured cards.
Secured cards. Anybody who's starting, I don't think. Check me on this if I'm wrong, but I don't think they offer secured cards for businesses. But for personal, they definitely do. Keep your utilization at 30%. Whichever cards that you get into, make sure that you have an extremely long commitment to them, because they're going to keep upping your cap, like your available buying power, as you spend more money. So always make a little note of it, put it in your phone, say, okay, this card, 30% of this is this, and that's how much you use. You know what I mean? So that's like $200, I think is like $80 or something like that, 70, something like that. So it's like, okay, well, nowadays you can fill up your tank So you have 3 cards, you fill up your tank once a week on each one of them. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. And, if you just want to keep it low, you just do that. And you do that for, 6 to 8 months, you'll be golden.
And you recommend, you said, because you got 3 when you first got started, right? Because I just wanted you to explain real quick before we go the importance of that or why you thought that, because I noticed that wasn't actually a thing years ago. And because I did it just because of me, just because my nature of who I am. I didn't do it for any particular reason, thinking that it was right or wrong. But like, I got a couple cards, and I didn't get it to just get a bunch of stuff. I just got it a couple different cards. So I was at like 5 cards at one point.
Okay.
And when I got my car, supposedly it was a good thing because it was different lines of credit.
Yes.
And they were, the way they explained it to me was, well, the bank looks at it that you can handle a few different things.
Right.
Then I had a friend go and try to get the car, and he had just one credit card that was really, really good.
Right.
And they actually gave him more problems than they did with me.
Yes, they will do that.
Even though my credit was lower, and my utilization was more fucked up.
Yes.
But the fact that I had more lines of credit looked better.
Because it's different. It's different. It's the same thing with real estate. Like, that's why it's so important, because there's levels to it. You know what I mean? Like, where it's like you can have a good FICO score with credit cards, but it's like, for example, like you said, like, just because you have a great credit score, you need to diversify your portfolio. You know what I mean? So you need to have a car. It's good to have a car loan. You know what I mean? It's good to have a mortgage loan. You know what I mean? If it's a rental property, you know what I mean? High balance credit cards, like, those are some of the things that you need, you know what I mean, to grow. So like, when you go for a house, say you want to go for a personal house, they see like, okay, well, this guy had 3 cars in the past 10 years. He has a whole bunch of credit cards with high limits that he pays off. He's very, very,
they can see that you can handle. It's like juggling. Like, it's like a server. If you can't hold fucking 3-4 plates and maybe a soda,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, can I trust you if I bring you to a high-end restaurant?
Right.
So it's kind of the same type of vibe. So that's how I understood it. So to me, I definitely got it. And for you, it shows, because you could have just took all 600 and put it into one card.
Yeah, exactly.
But you were like, nah, I'm going to do the 3.
Split it. Because you gain a reputation with 3 different banks. If you think about it like that, you know what I mean? Especially, like, you have to do your research, you know what I mean? It's like, you have to see which companies you want to do business with. Like, if you're going into a business entrepreneurial mindset, you have to make sure, okay, well, what's the biggest bank? Okay, well, Chase. Okay, well, I want to grow my connection with Chase. Chase is a very powerful bank. You know what I mean? Okay, American Express is a great, you know what I mean? They give free shit all the time. The points and rewards and stuff like that are insane, especially now after the COVID, where everybody wants to travel and they want to incentivize spending. It's nuts. You get like, skip the line at the, what is it called? Security people at the mall, at the airport.
I know, the TSA.
TSA, there you go. You know what I mean? No TSA, you don't have to go back there. They take your bags. You wait in a private lounge. It's nuts. So when I started to realize, like, it feels luxurious. You know what I mean? You pull up. Sometimes they even give you business class seats, bro. It's crazy, man. But those are the type of things you gotta look.
I need those certain things. I need that United credit card.
Right.
We gotta work on that.
That's, you know what I mean? Free flyer miles. You know what I mean? They give you miles for spending money. You know what I'm saying? Just for running your business, you could take a free flight to Florida or whatever across the country. You know what I mean? It's great.
We're gonna work on that.
Yes, sir.
But yo, man, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Let them know the socials.
Yes, so I just started a brand new Instagram for my finance page. So it's ppg.capital. My personal is ppg.javi, and my nutrition page is ppg non-nutrition. So ppg capital, is kind of like the umbrella thing. So
PPG
everything,
Word. This was dope, man.
Absolutely.
Super valuable. Like I said, we gotta get this guy on monthly. All right. Other than that, yo, we out of here. Deuces.
Deuces, yo.